materialize into something more than just a rainmaker. So my focus mostly is going to be on this area of interest right in the middle of the main development region right now. But at this moment, there's nothing to talk about other than the possibility of a storm forming. Here's the latest GFS model. You can see all of those little areas of energy moving around out there, but that's just it. Like, there's little areas of energy moving around, but no huge storms forming on the GFS this time. Really nothing happening with any of these waves coming off of Africa, and there's a lot of them. We thought that when this started happening, this would be the beginning of the onslaught of tropical cyclones in the Atlantic Ocean, and so far we haven't seen that happen yet. The GFS has moved around a little bit. We've seen a couple of different scenarios where it does paint a couple of these into, big hurricanes, but this latest run here doesn't do that. Hopefully that's the case, but everything says that that shouldn't be the case. The ocean heat content, the favorability of the upper level winds that we're going to be entering, this long-term pattern that we're going to be getting into in the middle of September, is everything says that we should be heading towards a more active period, but the GFS isn't seeing it, and right now we don't have anything concrete to report on. What the GFS is seeing, though, is something a little bit more substantial. There's a little bit more tact to this as far as forecasting goes, and it's this big trough that's going to be coming in this weekend into early next week. And right now it's much cooler than average across a lot of the eastern United States. You probably woke up this morning from work and you went outside and you realized, like, man, it's kind of chilly. It's been a while since I felt this atmosphere. A lot of us are dealing with that today. Well, you've not seen nothing yet. Okay, because I'm very confident that we are going to going to have this big trough moving in this weekend into next week. And this is going to bring some very chilly air. It's definitely going to feel like fall for a lot of people once this comes in. But of course, on the backside, a huge heat dome is forming in the west, and that's going to move into the central and eastern United States eventually. So we're going to be right back where we were, but a brief cool down is on the way, and it's going to be a sharp cool down. Check this out. Once again, right now, lots of us from Texas into the Ohio Valley over towards the East Coast, a lot of us are below average with our temperatures, right? But watch what happens as I go into the future. There's going to be a brief moment where some of us are going to try to warm up a little bit, especially from like Kansas and Missouri over through Kentucky up into the northeast. That'll be accompanied probably by some rain and some thunderstorms, but look at that huge, massive wall of heat building in the west up into Canada. Places are going to be 30 to 40 degrees above average. A true heat wave as we go into Saturday and Sunday, and then boom, this big low of low pressure.
That's cold.
Blast of air from Canada is going to lock itself in over the Great Lakes. And there's going to be some places in Michigan, maybe as far south as Indiana and Ohio, that are 20 to 30 degrees below average at some points during this extended cool period through the weekend into early next week. And then, of course, that is going to be followed by the big, massive heat dome eventually taking back over, and everybody's going to be warm again. But let's enjoy the cooler temperatures while they last. If that's something that you're looking forward to, I know a lot of you are. I am.
He gives me something or does
we're not
something
done
for
with
me.
summer. We're not done with the big high temperature
where I can
days.
stay, handle the heat.
That time
14.
it's kind of like a roller
14th.
coaster.
That's a nightmare for us.
But this big blast of cool air is going to feel quite shocking to some people if they're not ready for it. Because Sunday morning, some places will be in the 30s, Wisconsin, Minnesota, in the 40s as far south as into Indiana and Ohio, 50s in Kentucky and Tennessee. So yeah, this is going to be an extended period of cooler weather, especially in the mornings, and much more comfortable weather during the day before we get that next big area of heat coming back in as we go towards the end of next week. The experts over at the Climate Prediction Center are seeing much of the same, much below normal over here in the east, very much above normal in the west. Once again, this is the true definition of a heat wave. Some of our highest temperatures and our highest temperature anomalies will take place over the next week or
so when I go back
in the
to
west.
work, we'll
So
probably
make sure
start
you are
sweating.
prepared for that. This is valid between September 8th and September 12th.
Fine.
Yesterday. Now, what's interesting is this huge trough and ridge pattern is really keeping the weather quite quiet. Because the ridge starts so far west, it's not able to pick up a lot of Gulf of Mexico energy, so we're not seeing those storms slide down the northern plains into the Great Lakes like we normally would. And actually what's happening here is all of this cool air is just keeping things really calm. And there's not a lot of convection that can happen here, except for along the boundary between the cool air and the warm air. And
dark colors?
Happens to be coinciding with some of those tropical interest areas that we were just talking about in the Gulf of Mexico.
The gray's
so
normal.
that's going to lead to a ton of rain over the next 7 days, right
No, it
along the
does.
coast
So,
from
we're gonna get some
southeastern
rain?
portions of Texas and
These are
Louisiana,
air.
Mississippi,
It's all
Alabama,
air.
especially in Florida, in Georgia, maybe even in extreme southern South Carolina. Some places could see well over 3 to 4 inches of rain in a very short
that is
period
rain,
of
yeah.
time. So we're worried about some flooding. It's not going to be very widespread. I mean, you literally have to be on the coast here, unless you're in the peninsula of Florida, before you're going to feel the impacts of this very rainy system. But that's exactly what it is. The cool air is going to kind of create a wall here where a lot of the Gulf of Mexico energy that's bubbling up can't get past it, and it's just going to dump itself
I gotta
right
shut it
here
off. You
along
did.
the coast. But everybody
Turn
else
back
is staying
on.
pretty much dry for the next 7 days. So as we prepare for that next big rainstorm, why not get something in your backyard to measure?
Sponsored.
How many of you have been wanting a personal home weather station with an app on your phone where you can constantly check how much has it rained today, what's the temperature, the exact temperature in my backyard, the wet bulb, how much did it rain last month in total? I thought I just heard thunder. How many miles away was that most recent lightning strike? All that kind of stuff can
Me
be
neither.
done with this Tempest sensor in your backyard. The Tempest weather station is the most advanced and the
60
best
bucks, most
personal
likely.
home weather station that you can get as far as a mixture of those things go.
But
It's
they want
easy
to pay me to
use,
put it in
easy
my
to
yard to
install.